Hello my friends, we have some awesome news coming from the Bakhmut city. As I promised to you, the counteroffensive actions of Ukrainian army continues in that area. And let's zoom into the Bakhmut city itself. You can see that we have the blue territory already. It means that it was confirmed that the area was liberated by Ukrainian forces. Let's go for the timeline. It was yesterday and it is today. You can see this area liberated, and this one as well. This offensive action from the Ukrainian army was performed just in a couple of the days, and as you can see, we are successfully cutting the Russian flanks in the Bakhmut city, or it's better to say around the Bakhmut city. The similar stuff you may find on the map that Wagner published today. So here are those areas that were taken by Ukrainian army. On the southwest part, so liberated on 11th of May, and this one on 10th of May. It's all started from the counterattack towards Klishivka, and also they show the success of the Ukrainian army on the northwest part. They also mark that the regular Russian forces are losing their positions under the pressure of the Ukrainian army. And they claim that Ukraine was able to capture some territory over here close to Yahidne, and the idea for the Ukrainian forces basically to cut the Russian flanks if we start also the counterattack from this direction, and afterwards we may take Klishivka on the way to encircle the Bakhmut city, and here we may also go from the north part trying to get the city in the clouds. From what we see right now, that Russia should move their forces from this area, otherwise there will be encircled on this flank, and obviously the front line would collapse in that case on the southwest part. In that case, I expect Ukraine at least to reach Opitne on the south part from the Bakhmut city, and afterwards we may try to move to the other part, but there is also the river ongoing through the Bakhmut, and there's the natural obstacle, so we need some engineering equipment to go across Opitne. The same obstacle we have on the north part from the Bakhmut city as well. But you may also say that Wagner will send the reinforcements to that area. They have quite a lot of the soldiers in Soledar that they've took during the winter campaign, and they can definitely do it to counteract to Ukrainian attack coming from the west side, but in that case they will lose Soledar, because if we move a little bit further from Soledar over here and let's measure the distance, there is, as you can see, the successful Ukrainian small counterattack just 11 kilometers away from the Soledar town. Let's zoom into that place. So it was yesterday and it is today. Ukraine started to push Russian forces also from this direction to eliminate the threat of Wagner's to send more forces for the backup. The popular Russian blogger Prigozhin today recorded one more audio saying that the situation in Bakhmut is developing for Russians according to the worst case scenario. He says that the regular Russian army units surrendered their positions without fight. He exhaled that those territories were taken by blood and lives of our commanders and our military for several months, so they lost those territories for just 2 days. But according to one of the Ukrainian soldiers who posted the post on his social media, they went into those positions and spotted how Wagner's left first. He said that 72nd Brigade was encircled by Ukrainian forces, and finally after 2 hours negotiations, most of those people just surrendered to Ukrainians. So there could be also the scenario that Prigozhin is doing this on purpose. He is withdrawing his army from the flanks and leaving the positions. Yes, mostly the Wagner army is in the Bakhmut city itself, but still they're present on the flanks as well. He's doing it to blackmail the regular Russian army command, Shoigu and Gerasimov, and probably Putin. He wants to show that they will not resist against the Ukrainian attacks in that area in case Prigozhin will not get what he really wants. And he wants, as usual, power and the levers of influence inside the Russian military command. I think that it could be the possible version because from the videos I saw in the social media of Ukrainian counterattack that we are performing in Bakhmut, our soldiers are not using lots of the equipment as for the full-scale counterattack. No, just some of the tanks like 2, 3, 4, some of the BTRs, obviously artillery, drones, but it's not the significant force. And the Russian army still runs. And this is published on the Russian resources, the intention of the Ukrainian army, just what I showed you recently. The main idea is the attempt to encircle the Bakhmut city. By the way, this evening it was the big panic in the Russian channels. They already announced that Ukraine started the counterattack. But the Russian Defense Ministry say that it's the fake information, and later on the Russian channels disapproved the information they gave before. It means that they are panicking. Those are the positions close to the Bakhmut city, and Russian regular army just left them. Some of the Russian military bloggers say that Russia doesn't have enough equipment to fight against the heavy vehicles and tanks. Well, we have the next picture showing the tools that could be used potentially against the armored vehicles or tanks. Plus, lots of the tank mines. There was the report today in the news saying that Britain has delivered long-range Storm Shadow cruise missiles to Ukrainian army. There are some of the modifications of that rocket. One has the range a little bit less than 300 kilometers and the other one is a little bit less than 600 kilometers. I guess we have the shorter range version, but still it's great for Ukrainian army. And from the article we know that those rockets has been delivered to Ukraine. And we have the Storm Shadow cruise missile range already integrated into the Deep State map.live resource. It is the awesome interactive map that I always use in my videos. So let's go for it. The range is up to 250 kilometers. So let's go. Let's put the point somewhere close to this area. Yes, still far away a little from the Kerch bridge, so with the future counteroffensive we may move forward, just a little forward, maybe somewhere here, and we may reach the Kerch bridge in that case. But if we put it to Kherson, you may see that we already may target most of the Russian military airfields in Crimea. I guess that this rocket will be used for that purpose, especially targeting the helicopter airfields and also Russian fighter jets, including Sevastopol base in Belbek. The missile is very smart and also the warhead is quite impressive for such a tiny rocket. The good thing that it also uses the inertial reference system like we have on the airplane, so even without the GPS signal, this missile may find the target very precisely. It also has the special cumulative explosives that penetrates the concrete and the warhead itself goes into, let's say, bunker and there explodes. More good news from the United Kingdom. The UK Defense Ministry said that they transferred all of the Challenger 2 tanks that they promised to Ukraine. And it's really hard for me to remember the exact number. Firstly, they spoke about 12 tanks and later on we got the information about 18 tanks. Oh my god, what is this? This is the Russian T-55 tank that was spotted on the front lines from the Russian side, obviously, and it has the special grille double-deck construction. This additional tuning Russia does against the Javelin systems. But for this tank, to use the Javelin, I think it's too expensive, because you may penetrate it even with a standard RPG. Obviously, you need to get much closer to the tank to fire from the RPG, but nevertheless, this tank is very, very weak. Maybe they need to show this tank on their parades. And what I also confused about, that Russia showed the modified version of the T-55 tank with extra armor, contact one and some of the precision equipment there, but here is the very old standard tank with no accessories. The war criminal Strelkov Girkin also said that Ukraine started or will start the counterattack in a nearby perspective, and he is in lack of the optimism about that one. He says that Ukraine will start the offensive action in Zaporizhia and Kherson, probably in Donetsk, as auxiliary direction to deflect the attention of the Russian forces. Well, most of the experts say like that. And obviously he adds more panic. And the locals started to leave the Donetsk People's Republic, Luhansk People's Republic, and they flee also from the south part of Ukraine. I would do the same if I was there, because the modern day war is not different from the Second World War. All the buildings are mostly destroyed, as you see. And Polish officials said that they sent to Ukraine 14 of the MiG-29s. Before they said about 10 airplanes, well, totally 14, the more the better. But today in his interview to BBC, President Zelensky said that they will wait a little longer with the counteroffensive, because Ukraine still hasn't got all of the promised Western aid. It's quite strange, because before we heard the information coming from the Western officials saying that they gave everything for the successful counterattack. Well, we'll see how it goes in the future. Maybe they want to postpone the counterattack for a few days or for a few weeks, but it will happen anyways very soon. My friends, there are some videos posted just from the front lines, but I cannot post them on this platform. That is why I have the Telegram channel, so please join my Telegram channel. You may find the link in the video description just below. I use the Telegram as my alternate resource in the social media. You may always find me on Telegram. The United States accused the South African Republic for sending the ammunition to the Russian Federation. The United States intelligence confirms that one of the ships was used to transport the military cargo from the South Africa directly to Russia. The president of South Africa says that they've launched the investigation about the case. I think that just before the Ukrainian offensive action on the south, or wherever it will happen, there will be lots of the surveillance airplanes near to Crimea in the Black Sea and also close to the western border of Ukraine. But today I don't see any of the surveillance airplanes, at least on the flight radar 24. But there is interesting stuff happening in Estonia. Over here you may able to see lots of the Polish transport airplanes. Yeah, I moved my camera a little for you to see. So those are the Polish transport airplanes. They're flying in some circles in Estonian airspace. So there's also big C-130 airplane and also other small transport planes in that area. What are they doing? I don't know. Oh, just on the south there are some other planes, like very old retro. So probably there is just the air show that is going to happen in Estonia. My friends, I'm gonna keep you updated on situation in Ukraine and will hope to see more good news tomorrow. Now please press the like to this video, and also if you want to support my job, you may go to the video description. There are some links for my Patreon or for my PayPal. You may also support me on the sponsorship on this YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your kind support and your help. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.